Wow, the Chelsea-Tottenham fixture delivers again. What a game. And from a neutral perspective, I was enjoying that end to end. I didn't know who was going to win. There was goals galore, there were chances galore. But at the end of the day, Tottenham Hotspur had the more mistakes and then given away two silly penalties. And Chelsea, who were pretty sloppy the first 20 minutes, I thought Tottenham were excellent the first 20 minutes. They got into gear, they got going, and they played some really good football. The game ends with XG being pretty equal as well. It was quite an equal game, and I thought that Tottenham could have made it 4-4 had Son maybe taken his chance or Maddison taken his chance. I do think Chelsea need to improve defensively, but on the eye, watching Chelsea fans must be so happy with that because the football Chelsea play, the attacking quality they've got on the eye, they scored the most goals this season. Fantastic to watch. So I'm going to break down my opinions on the game. I'm going to talk about my general opinions. I'm going to talk about Chelsea. Then I'm going to talk about Tottenham. Then I'm going to talk about a few Chelsea players that stood out to me. So I'm going to talk about more Chelsea than Tottenham in today's video, but I'm also going to touch upon Tottenham because I know we do have a lot of Tottenham people on the channel. But I will say this, Chelsea in second place above Arsenal, 4 points behind Liverpool. If Everton did beat Liverpool, Chelsea would only be 4 points off top. Now, I don't think that Everton would beat Liverpool, but just saying, I mean, Chelsea are really doing something special this season, and Enzo Maresca is massively proving me wrong. Of course, it's early days, injuries could hit, of course, but you can only judge what you've seen, and the job that Enzo Maresca is doing has been absolutely phenomenal because it's not just that he's getting points, but the football Enzo Maresca is playing is fantastic football. Chelsea are coached, they have an identity, they have a plan, players are improving. He's improving players, there's an identity there. They're good on the eye, they're playing good football, and they're getting points and winning big games. That's all I can say on it. Now, if you want my honest opinion, I don't think any Tottenham fan can blame Ange Postecoglou for that. I generally don't. I think I'm going to talk about my general thoughts in detail in a sec, but that was not on Ange Postecoglou today because I don't think Tottenham put in a bad performance. They were very good the opening 20 minutes. They lacked intensity, but it was their decision-making in the final third, wasting chances and silly mistakes, which cost Ange points today. Because I think he set the team up quite well. Maybe he could have made his subs earlier. Maddison was needed in that game and he brought him on late and maybe he shouldn't have risked the centre-backs, but can you blame him when Dragason's the only fit centre-back at the club and how important Van der Ven and Romero was because Romero came off, Tottenham dropped off. But the players were to blame for Tottenham. Now, before I get into talking about Chelsea again and my stand-up performance, this is what I did say. Feel for Ange, he's working with a team of morons. Spurs fans can't blame him for today when the players missed 3 big chances, conceded 2 penalties and bottled the lead. He only got 1 non-teenage signing in the summer. How can they expect mass improvement? Don't know, good signings, but only one that goes into the first team is Solanke, and a Tottenham fans, it's the same injuries. How can they expect mass improvement with just one new signing in the first team? He's lost his 2 centre-backs again. Spurs fans may be frustrated, but sacking Ange won't make that team any better. And I stand by it. I think Tottenham fans have every right to be frustrated, but I don't think your problem is Ange Postecoglou. And we'll talk about that in more detail. But let's talk about other things. Jadon Sancho is excellent. The Man United fan in me is obviously very bitter with what went on with Jadon Sancho and I want him sold and I'm glad we sold him. I think it was the right decision to sell him. Do I think he's better than Anthony? Yes. Do I think that Jadon Sancho would probably improve Man United's current starting 11? Yes, but what had gone on with him refusing to play for the club for 4 months was unforgivable. Did I think that, Ten Hag was in the right? Not necessarily. I felt that Jadon Sancho was better than Anthony and I couldn't understand him and Ahmad being on the bench for Anthony under Ten Hag. But if you refuse to play for my club for 4 months, I want you gone. He's a good player, Sancho. I know that he's a good player. It's annoying that he goes to Chelsea and he's playing better for Chelsea than he ever did for United, but you've got to give him credit where credit is due. Enzo Fernandez was probably man of the match today. I thought he was a 10 out of 10, outstanding performance. Enzo Fernandez put in a £100 million performance. He today showed why Chelsea spent £100 million on him. If he can do that consistently, bash. Because Casado consistently for about a year now has been proving how good he's been. Enzo Fernandez for the last 7, 8, 9, 10 games, been very good. If he can continue that, he started to prove his worth. I thought he was 10 out of 10 today. Tottenham were just Spursy. I mean, fantastic for 20 minutes. In control of the game. They let Sancho score that goal. They didn't get close to him, and then they just capitulated. And I think they caused their own downfall. You've got to give credit to Cole Palmer. I think he broke a record for most penalties scored in a row. He makes it look easy. It's not as easy as that to take penalties. So cold. Did that so well. Van der Ven and Romero provide stability for Tottenham. When Romero came off, you could see it drop a bit. I think if Van der Ven and Romero stay fit, and Solanke and Kulu stay fit, like the key players for Tottenham, and Ange gets, I don't know, a big signing at left centre back just for depth, or left back just for depth in January, I still think Tottenham could have a good season. Generally do. I don't think Tottenham were bad today. I just think they had morons on the field that let the manager down. But Chelsea were incredible. They've got the most goals in the league this season, Chelsea. They play some fantastic football. Maresca has implemented a clear identity. He's improving players at Chelsea. That's what he's doing. Identity, player improvement. He's got that team together. It was a big squad. They had to get rid of a lot of players. He had to cut down that squad. And he's got everybody at Chelsea wanting to play for him, competing for chances and not complaining if they're not playing. He's built a positive environment that is non-toxic. He's improving players. He's instilled an identity. The football he plays is like less transitional based, which I think helps Chelsea with injuries as well, bar Reece James. But yeah, I think that Chelsea are very good at controlling games. They've got players with some really good technical and physical qualities, and I think Maresca has done very well to get the best out of them. I thought for Tottenham, Kulusevski and Solanke had a very good game in terms of Tottenham and how they did. I thought they were really good. They did their job, but I think a lot of the players let them down, sort of in defence and defensive errors. I thought Udogi's first half was quite good, to be fair to him, and I thought Maddison did well when he came on. Continuing on. Sancho, I mean, I would give Enzo Fernandez man of the match, but Sancho's goal sort of changed the momentum of the game. I think he was fantastic. 1 goal, 2 chances created, 3 out of 4 dribbles, 5 recoveries, 3 out of 4 duels won. I thought Jadon Sancho, as much as I don't like to say it, being a Manchester United fan, I did think he was excellent. I think that's his best game for Chelsea, and he's now got goals in his last 2 games. He had about 3-4 games in a row where he got assists. He's starting to get the numbers at Chelsea, and his performance all round, apart from the numbers, was also very, very good. So you've got to give credit where due. He's now got 8 goal contributions in 11 games for Chelsea. And I have to say, Maresca is using him properly. I saw this tweet from Jack saying, Sancho's combination play has been outrageously good. Whether it's Cucurella, Jackson or Caicedo, he's always got an underlapping runner to combine with. Environment, platforming your players, something United rarely did when it came to Sancho. And I always said with Jadon Sancho, because he wasn't very good at United, but I always said if you watched him at Dortmund, he needed players to combine with. And we never created that at United. And I said, and this was one of the reasons before Sancho had that fallout with Ten Hag and refused to play for us for 4 months. I was very defensive of Sancho because I said the environment isn't set up to get the best out of Sancho. I still thought that Sancho was better than Anthony, and I thought it was madness when Ten Hag was playing Anthony over him. But when Sancho had a strop and he refused to play for our club for 4 months, given that he was given a 4-month break in Ten Hag's first season, obviously I was like, okay, he's got to go. Did I want him to go to Chelsea? No, I wanted him to go abroad because I knew there was a good player there. And had he been in the right environment, he would have been a good player. And today he was fantastic. If you look at ball progression via carrying and via passing, he's basically at the top. Enzo Fernandez at the top via passing. We'll talk about him in detail, how fantastic he was with his passing, his creativity, his ability to exploit the space and the lines and the gaps left between them of Tottenham. But Jadon Sancho was dribbling the ball. He was getting up the pitch. He was causing a lot of issues. He was really, really making it difficult for Tottenham Hotspur. And he was fantastic today. Sharp, creative. You know, as you can see, if you look at progression via passing, progression via carry, he's right at the top. Successful dribbles, 3, right at the top as well. Passes near the top. He was involved in the game. He was influencing the game. And I've always said this with Sancho. His link-up was fantastic today. His pressing was good. He's very good in tight spaces. And then being able to find space, exploit Spurs' defensive weaknesses, that's what he is good at doing. And he was combining with players, moving, underlapping, overlapping, finding the space, exploiting the space. And when you look at what Enzo Maresca wants from his wingers, Jadon Sancho does tick all those boxes in terms of passing into the space, finding the space. You know, he's not a transitional player, Sancho, that plays really out wide. He's someone that's good in tight spaces, that's good with good players around him that can combine. And Enzo Maresca knows that, and to be fair, he's put the right environment there to get the best out of Sancho. Again, talking of Ange Postecoglou, wanted to throw this in from counter press. Again, I find myself aching for Ange. Daniel Levy is draining Tottenham of its potential. They have been linked, they've been blessed with a generational manager. However, Levy does not want to back him. Anyone blaming results on Ange is clueless. This is not on the individuals, regardless of Ange's tactical instruction. He cannot make the decisions of those players. This is on the individual, sorry. Therefore, don't blame the reckless decisions on the manager. The squad needs a dramatic reform. Romero, Sarr, Berg, and Solanke, the rest need to be shipped. Obviously, Van der Ven, I would keep for Tottenham. And then obviously, Udogie, I think, is a good player. Porro can do the job, but there's definitely competition needed there. And then Gray's obviously so young, but I know what he's saying. And then Benton Carr, I think, could have been of use if he played today. But yeah, Son was poor. He's nowhere near his best. You know, Son, in those opportunities he got, you think would finish it. And if Son finishes those chances, Tottenham get a different result today. And I think the mood around Tottenham's better. But I think because Tottenham have sort of lost three of their last 5 games, there's a real negative mood around the camp. And you can see why. And I can see why the fans are frustrated and annoyed. But I don't think replacing Ange is going to stop the rot. If you could get, Xavi Alonso coming in next week, maybe replacing Ange is the thing to do. But you've got to think about it. What Spurs pull, what top managers are available right now, and what of those top managers would want to go to Spurs right now that would make things better? Nobody. And sticking with Ange to the end of the season and then giving him the summer and backing again is what Tottenham need to do. They need to give him another centre-back for sure, a full-back for depth for sure, another winger because Son is on his last legs, maybe a backup striker to Solanke just because he runs so much for rotation, and potentially another midfielder. Going back into Chelsea, let's talk about Cole Palmer. The most goals in the game, the most shots in the game, the most crosses in the game, the most take-ons in the game, the most chances created in the game, the most fouls won, and the most duels won. Cole Palmer, everything, everywhere, all at once. I don't want to talk too much about Cole Palmer because whenever I do a video talking about Chelsea, we're talking about Cole Palmer because he's consistently brilliant. I had Saka as captain on FPL, and then last minute I went, you know what? Tottenham's defence has been a bit shaky. Fulham is Arsenal's bogey team. I had a feeling Arsenal were going to struggle today, and I captained Cole Palmer. So thank you very much, Cole, because you've saved me on FPL this week. I tell you that. But he was absolutely fantastic today, running the show. And those penalties, his stats are crazy, and a lot of them are penalties. But it's not easy to score 12 penalties in a row. That is a record, and that was fantastic. But let's dive into my man of the match, which was Enzo Fernandez. Now, Enzo Fernandez had a poor start to the season, dropped off a bit, and Levy and Caicedo, you could understand why was the preferred pivot. But I found that Chelsea, while Enzo Fernandez isn't the best defensively and Lavia brings more defensive stability, I felt that Chelsea lacked a little bit creativity-wise, and they would just focus on Palmer, the opposition, and try and mark him out the game when Enzo didn't play. Now, I think Caicedo inverting Lavia and Enzo worked really well today. Fantastic by Chelsea. And I said this, Enzo Fernandez continues to excel, dominating the second half and dictating play, scored a crucial goal to put the team ahead. And what a goal that was. Fantastic from Palmer. Fantastic from Enzo, but he's been really good the last 6-7 games. He's starting to prove the 100 million price tag, because there was a few question marks around him just 2 months ago. He won key duels, he delivered a massively impressive performance, and he's now got 9 goal contributions in his last 6 games. I think with Enzo, there was a good player, but there was a lot of question mark about his output. He's now been good and been getting good output as well. His movement and ability to draw defenders and create space for teammates is phenomenal. I've always said with Enzo, he gets into space on the left-hand side, draws a defender with him, and that would open up more space for someone like Palmer to exploit, which I think worked today. I think that Chelsea were really good at finding space, and Enzo Maresca's system is all about sort of drawing players in until space opens up and then playing into the space. I thought Tottenham had defensive gaps, and I felt that Enzo was able to play to Palmer and Sancho in good areas and find the gaps and find the space. I thought his movement off the ball was incredible. But on the ball, his ability to distribute the ball, set the tempo and possession, he's a great playmaker. He worked really well with Lavia, and I think all of Chelsea's attacking combinations came through him. He brings that element of creativity to Chelsea, and I thought he was vital on the ball, and I thought he was fantastic today. And you look at Chelsea, 2 points above Arsenal. The job Enzo Maresca is doing is absolutely incredible, and they've played all the top teams and all the tough teams. If you look at goal difference, again, better goal difference than Arsenal, showing they deserve to be where they are in the league. They're not overperforming it. And I was talking about how Jackson is a player that's improved under him, but I think Caicedo was as well. 93rd percentile for dual win rate, 86% for defensive actions, 83rd percentile for key passes, and 78% for progressive passes. Moises Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, Nicholas Jackson have all been excellent in these last few games. Cole Palmer's been good, Sancho's been good, Neto's showing why he's dangerous at times. I look at Chelsea and I just think they need to sort of sort out their defence a little bit, and they should be okay. If Chelsea can get a good goalkeeper in, a good centre-back in, I think they're in a very, very good position. I think what Enzo Maresca's done is completely proving me wrong, and it scares me a little bit. But yeah, credit where credit is due to Sancho. Very coordinated, very good at retaining the ball in tight spaces, link-up play, 1-2. He was fantastic today. Big credit to, of course, Enzo Fernandez, my man of the match. I thought Kulusevski and Solanke did a job. I think there's a good player in Star, but I think Tottenham caused their own mistakes. Thank you for watching today's video. Let me know your thoughts, guys, down below. Bye.